So help us understand how you're using the term alpha in a way that doesn't turn us off.
Yeah. So again, I'll go back to what I reiterated. I'll reiterate. Alpha is the act or doing or the being and living a difficult way that most people are unable to live. Meaning that, again, are you able to extend compassion and have an intimate, real conversation with someone who is breaking down? And that makes you uncomfortable because it's bringing up your own insecurities. That's a very difficult skill to learn. Mm-hmm. So alpha, as I'm defining it, redefining new alpha, man or woman, is someone who is willing to step out of their comfort zones and do difficult things that they were not culturally taught to do.
What's the root of the word alpha? What does it mean? Is it new?
Alpha is just one, the first letter in the alphabet, alpha.
Okay.
One. Alpha in Greek, alpha is A, is the first letter. So you're the first. And so by that definition, you are blazing a trail, maybe just for your family, for your children, for your posterity, to live a new way. So alpha doesn't have to mean you have to become president or CEO. It means just being brave enough to carve out a new path for even just yourself.
Yeah. So tell me if it's okay to, when we hear the word alpha, to think, like Christ talked about being born again.
Yeah.
Like Richard Rohr talks about the first half of life and the second half of life. Mm-hmm. Almost Eckhart Tolle talks about an awakening, an enlightenment. It's not that you're enlightened. It's not that you're awakened. It's that you've had this rebirth of consciousness where you want to be born again with a newness of who you are and who you want to be, and to do things fundamentally differently than the culture within which you were raised.
Yes, that would be the sixth principle of perseverance, which is transformation. Or at the corporate level, I call it being a leader of your own life. And you hear me use that term in my TEDx talk, What is Your Polygamy? Learning to be a leader of your own life, which is I decide for myself my metrics of success, my metrics of happiness. That once you have explored all corners of a system or been expelled from a system, that you realize, okay, there's nothing for me here. Am I going to slowly die because I'm afraid of abandonment? Fear of abandonment is usually our greatest driver at the human level. 90% of humans operate from fear, and abandonment is usually the root of that fear. And so we conform and we abandon essential parts of ourselves so we won't be abandoned. And so in transformation, you are being willing to step out and be brave enough to say, all right, I now decide for myself my metrics of success. And my metric, John, is one word: clarity. Clarity of being, and clarity comes by asking questions, asking myself hard questions. And your philosopher archetype that you and I both share, systems hate philosophers because the philosopher is the one always asking the question. The philosopher really is the moral compass of humanity, saying, well, how is this moving humanity along to a greater purpose? Systems say, nope, stay inside this box, this system, and everything will be safe. So your philosopher archetype was triggering people from a long time ago, well before you got excommunicated. But that philosopher archetype is now what is continually allowing you to step into this alchemical fire, the phoenix energy of death and rebirth, of being transformed, asking every time, and being able to let go and surrender many iterations of who you were. Even from the time that you were excommunicated to now, I can imagine there were 2 or 3 other identities that you tried to fit into that you've had to furthermore let go as well. Because once you step into that transformational process, it becomes a never-ending part of your life as you move toward clarity, being able to let go more and more of these constricting, limiting boundaries that are just comfort zones. Comfort zones are just they're just illusions that we humans glob onto to feel like we're safe. When really, what the athlete teaches when we step into that surrendering identities of who we are, and surrender is the fifth principle of perseverance. When an athlete is in the zone, when he's on fire, when we watched Jordan light at the Trailblazers in 1993, averaging 40 a game in the finals then, his brain was off. Meaning, when you're aiming your shots, and you're enough of an athlete to know this, when you aim and you're thinking, you miss your shots. That when you're just in your body and you are flowing with life, you're flowing with the game, you're responding, not reacting. You're both masculine and feminine. Masculine is shooting the ball, feminine is passing the ball. Right, left-handed. If I'm always shooting the ball, I become easy to guard because I'm predictable. If I'm always passing, I'm predictable. Not just in basketball, but in life. So the trick is getting heart-centered in your body, trusting your body and its intuition and its instinct. The body is very intelligent. It has just as much electromagnetic energy pulsating as the brain does. Yet the brain, in our hubris, says, I am the only important part. The body says, that's not true. I am just as, if not more important. And so that's what the athlete is teaching us. When we're in the zone, I can tell you, those games when I was on fire, I wasn't even analyzing. Sure, I had mental memory recall, recognizing this familiar structure or set or defense, knowing what is going to happen, but that then allows my body to recall a muscle memory and trust and flow with it. That is when someone has stepped into a zone, when you watch your favorite athlete, baseball, football, basketball, when they're in the zone, they are 100% in their body. Their brain has shut off. And when that is true, you've surrendered. That is not even, Lance doesn't even exist anymore in that moment. That's bliss. That's euphoria. That's enlightenment. That's ecstasy, whatever you want to call it. Because my brain is shut off and the ego is no longer saying, this is who I am, this is my story, these are my merit badges, these are my trauma, this is how I identify myself, I'm the victim, people need to feed into that. All that goes away and everything is just quiet and you're flowing with life. That is the lesson that the athlete teaches. Yet, ironically, you have all the CEOs sitting on the front rows saying, oh, great job, Kevin Durant. You made the instinctive play from the broken play. You went and made the home run play. Good job. And the next day, they'll go and hamstring their employees and say, well, what did the stats say? As athletes, stats inform us, but they don't drive us. Again, we improvise. That's what inspires people. That's what athletes do. That you can have all the information, but that's all why everyone freaked out with COVID too. Because we thought we had enough stats, that we thought we were in enough control, that we made the world our bitch. But then suddenly like, oh wait, we actually don't have control? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my mind. How am I gonna make sense of this? I gotta come up with a crazy conspiracy theory to say this is what's happening, rather than just saying, we're all here for a ride, man. Mother Earth is in charge and we're just flowing with life. And we have a choice to either resist it and keep getting in trouble and get benched, like I did many times as an athlete, or I can get on and just ride the wave.